Hello and welcome, BitMonger family. Monger here with you today from my beautiful house in Thailand. In today's video, I want to address the Philippines again. I don't want you guys to all think I'm a hater. I'm certainly not a hater on any place. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that I really do love and like about the Philippines, because I really don't want you guys just to think I'm a complete hater on the country. That I am not, I can assure you. And just so you guys know my background a little bit more, if you haven't looked into it, I've been living in Southeast Asia since my early 20s. Most of my adult life, I've been in this region of the world, and I've spent a significant amount of time in the Philippines, and and traveling all over it. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that I love about the Philippines. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the natural beauty of the place. It is fantastic, guys. Prior to living in Southeast Asia, I spent some time in Hawaii. And the Philippines, parts of it reminded me of Hawaii. Beautiful, green, lush mountains and incredible ocean colors. You get some really beautiful dark blue ocean colors there that you don't see in a lot of other parts of Southeast Asia. So the ocean is absolutely beautiful there. It's also got some surfing destinations, which I really like over there in Surigao. You don't find that in many other places around Southeast Asia either. At least not good ones. I mean, you have to go to Indonesia otherwise, for the most part, to find good surf spots. So I really like that side of the Philippines, of what it has to offer. It's got some other beautiful places, like over in El Nido on Palawan. Just a gorgeous spot that is just beautiful. It's really a sight to behold. Baguio, going up into Baguio, if you take a bus, it's kind of dangerous, but going up into Baguio as you go through those terraced steep mountains and you get up into that higher elevation, the climate up there is really a nice relief from that hot humidity that you do face in the Philippines. But generally speaking, that's another thing I do like about the Philippines, is that the climate there is a little bit cooler than most other parts of Southeast Asia, which is a big perk. Compared to Thailand, where I live, I wish Thailand was slightly cooler. But, no place is perfect. But the Philippines has a nice climate, and up in Baguio, it's nice to get up there, guys. If you haven't been there, it's a nice treat. The whole landscape changes as you get up into the higher elevation. You have different types of fauna. You have pine trees. You have a complete different vegetation, and it's a nice spot to visit. Another place that I really enjoyed visiting when I was there is Vigan. And that's up in the northern part of Luzon. It's got a very interesting history. It's an UNESCO World Heritage Site. Nice cobblestone streets. It was established by the Spanish, like most places there that have architecture or that type of development happening on a larger scale. So Vigan was an interesting place. I liked it. Small, sleepy town. Had a charm I was attracted to. Another thing that I like. Generally speaking, while I dislike Filipino food, there are a few dishes that I do really enjoy. The first is the most common one that everybody knows about, is adobo. And then the other two that I really enjoyed was fresh lumpia. And make sure you get the fresh lumpia. rather than the typical lumpia that's deep fried. Fresh lumpia hasn't been deep fried, and it's more similar to like a Vietnamese spring roll. It's healthy, it's delicious, it's got a really nice dipping sauce. I really enjoyed fresh lumpia. Another thing that I really liked was this dish called Bicol Express, and it's a little bit more spicy, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I like the spiciness. That's one thing about Filipino food for the most part. It's fairly bland. They don't use a lot of spices and seasonings like you see in other parts of Southeast Asia. So I really enjoyed that dish. Another thing that I liked about the Philippines, obviously, is the fact that English is spoken. So I'm not going to discount that. Being able to just speak your native language and be able to communicate is easy, which is another perk. But that hasn't stopped me, guys, from living in other places and learning other languages. I speak a few languages. I wouldn't say fluently, but I speak them, in a working manner. Another thing, and this is probably the most obvious, and that would be, as a single guy, the armies of available women there. I mean, it is an absolute dating paradise in terms of being a single guy. You have tons and tons of options. Now, what these women's motives are is a whole nother issue. But in terms of just, having a good time and partying and getting, really cheap dates, because you can take these gals to a place like Jollibee, which is honestly disgusting food, but they seem to like it. And they'll be happy with you just taking them out for a simple meal like that. A happy meal, will do you wonders. Try taking a Western girl and buying her a happy meal and see how happy she is. So you have that's a huge advantage. Just the sheer amount of women available there is just amazing. I'm shocked when I see these guys that are spending money for these, marriage and hookup sites. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's like, I feel like, man, you need to be, something really needs to be wrong with you to feel like you need to use and pay for those services when there's just so many available women that are super happy to meet, Western men there. It's just insane. The sheer scale of women that want to hook up, just insane. So, in those terms, I like that as well. Some people, they like the fact that they can relate to them better based upon their, Catholic, Christian, upbringing. That can be a benefit to most. I usually try to avoid religious and political conversations just because, it's usually something that you don't want to talk about with women. Most women, you just want to joke with them. I mean, most of them, they're not looking for any kind of serious conversation, especially the women. They're happy-go-lucky, be a joker. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about, don't talk about money too much either, guys. That's one thing. Don't talk about the money. Some women, if they do find it interesting, well, then you got to question their motives. But most of them are just going to find it boring. It's a good subject just not to bring up. Another thing that I loved about the Philippines, the people are extremely friendly. I had very few encounters where it was negative. You get the taxi guy trying to hustle you maybe But generally speaking, most of my encounters with the Filipino people were extremely positive. Very, very nice people. But this is on a very superficial level, guys. So keep that in mind. But on a superficial level, extremely nice, very friendly people. If you involve money or something like that, I think the dynamic changes greatly. So one thing I can tell you is, if you ever loan money, don't consider it a loan, consider it a gift. Okay? Never expect any money coming back to you guys. But yeah, the people are very, very nice, friendly, and they seem to have an awareness that other Southeast Asian societies don't, in terms of their interest in the United States. So you can have certain discussions about pop culture with them that they're going to be familiar with, that and sports. So if you're into sports, some of them might have an interest in basketball. That seems to be a pretty big following there. But anyways, I wanted to set the record straight. I'm not a hater on the Philippines. There's a lot of things I do enjoy about the Philippines. Anything that I missed? Oh, if you guys take women to Boracay, go to Puka Beach. It's on if I remember, it's on the south end of the island, I think it is. And that place had much fewer people. There's only one big resort there, and it was absolutely outstanding. Way better than White Beach. It was fantastic. Anyways, I think that's where I'm going to end it today, guys. Wish you're all doing well, and monger on.